What's up, LA Kings fans? The Bat Fry, Kenny Fry here. You're watching the Silver and Black Lair. Coming up on the show, we'll be talking recap of Game 1, talk a little bit about that shit show. We'll take a look back at Game 2, not a shit show. And we'll look ahead to Game 3, also LA Kings season awards, team awards. Also talk about that and much, much more. So be sure to stay tuned for the Silver and Black Lair. Coming up in 1 minute. Good morning, LA Kings fans, and welcome to the Silver and Black Lair, LA Kings edition. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry. Welcome to the show, Thursday morning. So if you're not aware, if this is your first time checking the show out, I appreciate it. But if you checked the show out before and you're a little bit confused, because I used to do the Silver and Black Lair was the Las Vegas Raiders and LA Kings together. I decided to split those shows up. So Thursday mornings, we'll be doing LA Kings and at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And Friday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern time, I will be doing the Las Vegas Raiders. That's, moving forward. And then, there's still, probably sometimes I might combine them, especially in the off season coming up, where there's not a whole lot going on, just easier maybe to do one show. But we'll play that by ear. We'll tackle that when it happens. So all right, so let's kick this show off. Let's get this show on the road. Before I do, I'm going to go ahead and remind everybody that tonight, here on Out of the Box Sports Network, join us for the NFL Draft live at 7:30 p.m. There's going to be multiple hosts on. I will be on after 8 o'clock for a little while, probably somewhere around 8:15, 8:30 or so. I will be on, and we'll be talking NFL draft and our teams, who's picking what, who's doing what, surprises, all that good stuff. And it'll go to the end of the first round. And like I said, starts at 7:30 tonight. Be there or be square. Like I think it was Alf used to say. I remember Alf back in the 80s. Alf was awesome. Loved Alf when I was a little kid. I had a little Alf doll. It squeezes his belly, and he'd say, "Hey, let's go raid the refrigerator." And you squeeze his belly again, and it'd say something like, "Where's the cat?" Because he liked to, always trying to eat the cat. So, which, now that I think about it, it's kind of a little bit of sexual connotation there. So anyway, Game 1 was terrible. I don't want to say, I guess you could say the Kings came out flat. I don't want to say they weren't ready because, there's a lot of veterans on that team, a ton of veterans on that team. So they know what it takes to get up and get ready for the playoffs. They know, obviously, from the past 2 seasons, this being the third time in a row we're playing the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. They know the battle that they're going to be facing. So they know how to get up for this team. But for whatever reason, they came out super flat in Game 1. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Heyman, Zach Heyman, or Hyman, whatever the hell you want to call them. They're fantastic. They were absolutely fantastic. There's not a whole lot you can say about it. Connor McDavid is unbelievable. I love the guy, hate the guy, whatever. I get it, especially if you're an LA Kings fan. You hate the guy, but you got to show respect on that lad. And it's simply amazing. Watching him skate up against the 1-3-1, I guess the zone or whatever you want to call it, the Kings run, the set the Kings run a 1-3-1. And, watching him run up against that, he's running into 3 players and somehow just weaving in and out of those players. They're just making it look simple, making it look easy. And it's extremely frustrating to watch. as a Kings fan because you're helpless. Like you're helpless, and it looks like our defensemen, our defenders, in our defensive zone, they look helpless as well. Helpless as well. And it's I know a lot of other Kings fans, especially after Game 1, were screaming to the heavens. Somebody put a body on that guy. Somebody check that guy, and it wasn't happening in Game 1. The dude was just going wherever he wanted, doing whatever he wanted, uh, flying around untouched, unfettered, unmolested, whatever you want to call it, whatever he wanted to do. He ended up, I think, with 5 assists in Game 1. Unbelievable. Hyman had a hat trick, 3 goals and an assist. The douchebag Draisaitl, he had a goal and assist. Unbelievable. McDavid was just unbelievable that game. Watching him work behind the net, that's another thing that was really up my craw there. He comes zooming behind the net, and we're just waiting for him to come back out the other side instead of meeting him behind the net. Either make him clear it up the boards, or meet him behind the net and put his ass down. But we're not doing that. We're waiting for him. We were catching him instead of attacking him, and he was just doing whatever he wanted. He'd come around the net, try a wrap around. It's whatever he wanted to do, he could do. So extremely frustrating Game 1. I do have a bunch of notes written down here, so I'm going to go through them. I'm just going to read it word for word, verbatim here. So I have written down McDavid and Hyman throttled the Kings. Connor McDavid had 5 assists. Hyman had 3 goals and an assist. McDavid played on another level, just moving at will wherever he wanted to, making whatever play he wanted to without being touched, harassed, or molested by any LA King player, which was pretty much the whole game. And you knew that was going to be the one thing that would have to change, or it was going to be a quick series. The Edmonton power play, that's another thing. The Edmonton power play was firing all cylinders, passing pucks top, bottom, across, back to the top again. They were just moving it wherever they wanted to. The Kings were chasing it. As much as they wanted to stay in that diamond, they were getting out of place. It was opening up lanes. Really frustrating to watch. Their puck moving was simply amazing in Game 1. They had us all over the place. They had us all over the place. Like I said, open lanes. Everybody's on one side of the ice. The diamond is on one side, and there's just a wide open Oiler on the other side of the net. They just pass it across. By the time Talbot would get over, the puck's in the net. It's unbelievable. But give credit where credit is due. LA, we didn't go away. The Kings didn't go away. We fought back. Made a game out of it. It was 4-0. Kings fought back, made it 4-2, a respectable game. I think that was in the second period. And then they come up in the third period, drop 2 more on us, make it 6-2. All right, it's easy. You can easily say, let's pack it up. Let's head home. The Kings fought back, brought it to 6-4. They brought it back so close to where they pulled the goalie, hoping to get it to within a 1-goal deficit. But unfortunately, the Oilers were able to add an empty netter to finish us off. So my thoughts on Game 1 is we looked outclassed by the Oilers. Edmonton was faster and more tenacious around the boards, back check, forecheck, everywhere, check. They were more tenacious. They wanted it more in Game 1, especially in the offensive zone. The offensive zone, they spent a lot. What felt to me, I could be wrong. I didn't look at the stats on this. It felt to me like they spent a lot of time in the O zone, a lot of time in the in their offensive zone, our defensive zone, just moving the puck around, and doing whatever they wanted to. And when it comes to Connor McDavid, I feel like you have to play the body, not the puck. He's skating between three defenders like that. Somebody has to stand him up. Somebody has to get face to face with him, stand him up, stop his forward momentum. And if the puck happens to slide away to another player, so be it. So be it. You just can't let him go crashing towards the net untouched like that. He's gonna continue to make us look silly like that. When he's making one of his trademark pushes, the defense needs to stop the body, stand him up. Trust your team. Trust your teammates that they can clean up wherever the puck goes. Trust your teammates; they can clean it up, and go on from there. Talbot, during Game 1, has to be better. Now, he faced a ton of shots, a ton of pressure. He was under pressure the whole time. So it's not all on Talbot. You look at some of the goals he gave up, there's nothing you can do. There was absolutely nothing you can do in some of these goals. He might have allowed one or two soft goals, but besides that, a lot of tough saves he would have had to made to keep it respectable. But it's playoff time. You want your goalie, especially your all-star goalie. He was our only all-star this season. To make those saves, to come up big. You need somebody to come up big, and especially a goalie in times like that. Do some sort of otherworldly type thing. Another worldly type save is what was needed, and we weren't getting it. And he did the best he could. Like I said, under constant pressure, came up short. But he had to be better after game one, moving forward. The Kings also need to do a better job clearing the puck. Clearing the puck out of the zone. Make the Oilers chase it down, and at least give us a chance to breathe. They are suffocating the Kings. Like I said, by the amount of time it felt like they're in the offensive zone, they're just suffocating the Kings, suffocating our defense, and just wearing us down. They wore us down game one. It was tough. And finally, my final thought on game one is stay out of the damn penalty box. For the love of criminy. We've seen it last season. I think their power play was like 40-something percent, almost 50%, which is insane. And it felt like last season they scored at will on the power play. So we go to game one. We in the offseason, rewind that. The offseason, it's one of the things the Kings really pushed for. Also, we're working towards that penalty kill. Need to get the penalty kill better. Last year it was I think in the 20s, somewhere like 22, 23, 24, somewhere around there. This season they did it. We worked on the penalty kill, and the Kings finished the season at 2. And most of the season they were at 1. They finished by like 1 or 2% behind the Carolina Hurricanes. And I think our kill percentage was something like 84%, 85%, somewhere around there. So it's a huge improvement, absolutely huge improvement for the Kings on the penalty kill. And it almost felt like the reason we spent so much time on the penalty kill, working on it to get it better, was for this moment. For this moment, round one against the Oilers, I need to exercise those demons. And what better place to start doing that than by killing the penalties? Well, that didn't happen in game one. We had 4 penalties against us, 2 stupid penalties against Pierre-Luc Dubois. Some of it was ticky-tacky, yes, but still, penalties are penalties. You got to get yourself out of those situations, and the Oilers, made us pay for it. They were 3 for 4 on the power play, and the Kings absolutely struggled. They did when they were on the power play, they did whatever they wanted. Really frustrating. Just watching them move that puck back and forth, up and down, across the ice. No sticks in lanes. No stick on stick, stick on puck. From our defense, it's just nothing. So those were my thoughts on game one. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the game one stats recap on this. So the stats, like I said, Kings lost 7-4. First period, Hyman scored. Zach Hyman for the Oilers. He was also their leading goal scorer this season. He had a career year there. Assisted by Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard. Then also in the first period, Henrique scored for the Oilers. His first of the playoffs. Assisted by Hyman and Bouchard. Second period, Hyman scores his second goal of the game. Assisted by McDavid and Henrique. That made it 3-0. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scores on the power play, assisted by Draisaitl and McDavid. That made it 4-0. And finally, the Kings show a little bit of life. Mikey Anderson, who is not a prolific scorer from the defensive spot at all, but he gets a goal. Mikey Anderson, a nice goal by him. He was assisted by Drew Doughty and Victor Arvidsson. That made it 4-1. And then finally, nearing the end of the second period, Adrian Kempe scores, assisted by Quentin Byfield. That made it 4-2. So I'm trying to think. There was also a point in the game where Trevor Lewis, I think it was in the second period, Trevor Lewis had a goal called back. I think it was 4-1 Kings, and we had a couple guys in front of the net. I don't remember who shot the puck, but there was deflection and went in the net. It looked like a clean goal right away, but they went ahead and reviewed it. I think Edmonton challenged it. They reviewed it, and it showed that Trevor Lewis, as he's battling in front of the net, his hands come up, the puck's coming in, and as he's bringing the stick back down to make contact with the puck hits his glove and goes in the net. So they said it was intentional. I thought it looked incidental to me, but they said it was intentional. So they waved the goal off, made a 4-1. We did get it back. That made it 4-2, but it would have been nice to have that and then score that other goal, make it 4-3 after 2. But it is what it is. And we go to the third period, down 2 goals. With a little bit of momentum going into the third period. I think we were on the Oilers were on the power play going into the third period. Yeah, we had a penalty right at the end of the period. I want to say it was Trevor Moore, but I don't remember exactly. It doesn't matter who it was. So third period opens up. Draisaitl scoring a power play goal right away, assisted by McDavid and Bouchard. That made it 5-2. Zach Hyman gets his hat trick on another power play goal, assisted by McDavid and Bouchard. That made it 6-2. Like I said earlier, it would have been easy for the Kings to pack up shop, fold everything up. All right, let's just go home, back to our hotel rooms, and lick our wounds. But no, they didn't do that. They fought back. They made a game of it. And there was the one wonky goal. I don't know who scored. If it was, I don't know if it's Trevor Moore's goal or Pierre-Luc Dubois, where there was a broken stick by I don't remember. It was somebody from the Oilers. I wanted to say it was Draisaitl, but I don't think it was. Was it Nurse? Maybe a broken stick, and that was a turnover, led to a goal. But anyway, 6-2. Then Pierre-Luc Dubois scores, assisted by Kempe and Gavrikov. That made it 6-3. And then Trevor Moore scores, assisted by Laferriere. Alex Laferriere. That made it 6-4. Kings pull the goalie late in the game, trying to bring it within 1 score. But unfortunately, Fogle scores an empty netter. That made it 7-4, and that's where it ends. So looking at some team stats here. Well, one more player stat. Cam Talbot stopped 38 out of 44 shots. That's an .864 save percentage. Not good, not good enough, not good at all. But with that being said, dude was under a lot of pressure for pretty much the whole game. So it is what it is. So looking at some team stats, shots went to Edmonton, 45-37. There are a ton of shots by both teams, but Edmonton was way ahead for a while. But the Kings really started putting a lot of shots on in the second period, late second period, halfway through the second period, and then into the third period as well. Kind of started, ramping it up a little bit, it seemed like. Hits went to LA, 65-45. And I mean, I was listening to a Locked On Kings podcast after this game the next day, and I kind of agree with them. I don't know who's tallying these hits, but those are inflated numbers, man. I'll tell you what. I mean, like normally, for the most part, Kings games, Kings get out hit, but it's usually like 22-18 or like 33-27 is like a high one. 65-45 in the hits. And Kings won that 65-45. That's unbelievable. There's something wonky about that. I don't know. Face-offs went to Edmonton 40-32. Kings were 0 for 2 on the power play. And like I said, the Oilers were 3 for 4 on the power play. Terrible job by the Kings penalty kill unit. And block shots also went to Edmonton 23-16. I was actually surprised by that stat. I didn't think the Kings were anywhere near 16 block shots. I just felt like the Oilers had free reign on the net. So game one's a tough one, but like I said in the LA Kings fans group chat, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's game one. You move on from it. It's a 7-game series, and it's not over. So we go to game 2. Move on to game 2 in Edmonton last night. LA jumps out early with a couple Kempe goals. And then, the Kings, they came out very aggressive in the first period. They were attack, attack, attack. I really liked it. Uh, they were more body on body. It felt like more, stick on stick in the defensive zone, pushing the puck up the boards, and making the Oilers work for it a little bit more. Every time the Oilers tried to set up in the offensive zone, the Kings were able to get into the lanes, break passes up, or get stick on stick and back check on it and get it out of the defensive zone and move it up into the offensive zone. So they did a lot better in game two with that. And like I said, their aggressiveness, tenacity, much better. They're playing much, much faster in game two than game one, especially that top line of Kempe, Kopitar, and Byfield. This time, they were creating a lot of pressure on the Oilers, and they were forcing turnovers instead of the opposite way in game one. The Kings were the ones forcing the turnovers early on and creating more scoring opportunities. They let Edmonton back into the game though. Edmonton, I think it was 2-1 or it was 3-1 Kings after one. But right there in period two, Edmonton bounces back, 2 goals in period two. And just like that, if you're a Kings fan, you're kind of had the life sucked out of you. It was a terrible feeling after 2 periods being 3-3. For as well as the Kings played in the first period, it just it was sickening. Watching it, seeing it 3-3 going into the third. The Kings stopped being aggressive. I felt anyway. These are all my opinions. They stopped being aggressive and started catching just like in game one instead of attacking. Talbot, although giving up 4 goals in this game, was very good. He had a couple saves that were just amazing saves that you probably see highlights of on the ESPN if they still showed highlights and stuff instead of over analyzing everything. But anyway, Talbot really kept us in the game. If he doesn't make those stops, it easily could have been another 7-4 game easily. They made some beautiful saves by Cam Talbot. The Kings defense did do much better. They did some really good things. The back check was good. Pushing the puck up the ice, up the boards as well, and putting the pressure back on Edmonton. Also, like I said before, stick on stick, stick on puck. Putting body to body as well. There was the one time McDavid was trying his little weave trick in between 3 players. I can't remember who the defenseman was. I wanted to say it was Mikey Anderson, but I can't remember if it was him or Matt Roy. But they stood him up. They put body to body, stopped his forward momentum, and there goes the puck. Turnover. Kings push it back up the ice, and that was it. They did a really good job against McDavid, I thought. There was a couple times he picked up a good bit of speed, and the Kings we were a step behind, but we were able to poke check or at least tap the stick a little bit to kind of throw him off some. So just being a hindrance and annoyance is a good thing against Connor McDavid. Getting sticks on pucks is key on defense against him. But still, even as well as they played in game two, much better than game one, there was still a lot of grade A opportunities for the Oilers to score a bunch of goals. I still need to button that up, need to do better there. We got a comment, finally. Eileen checking in. What's up, Eileen? Thirsty Thursday, Eileen, right? She says, boo Oilers, boo. That's right, not boo Earns. We're not talking boo Earns. We're talking boo Oilers. For all you Simpsons fans out there, Eileen, I know you know what I'm talking about. So we've done this several times, but yeah, boo Earns. All right. So continuing along here, before I do, right now we're sitting at 36 live viewers, mostly on X. Mostly on X. There's a couple on YouTube as well. Throw your comments out. Comments, questions. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care even if it's not about this game, if it's about the NHL playoffs in general. Throw it out there. Post it. I'll give you a shout out, and we'll discuss. We'll talk about it as much as I can. Anyway, If it's something I don't know about, I'll just read the comment and kind of give my thought about it and move on. My Wi-Fi is being a little bit wonky here, so if I disappear or freeze, I'm sorry. All right, so moving on. So the game 2 scoring recap here, scoring summary. Let me get a sip of iced tea for the working man. There it is. All right, first period, Kempe scores his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Kopitar. That happened 3 minutes and 19 seconds into the first. That made it 1-0, and Kempe scores again, his third of the playoffs, assisted by Kopitar, his second assist of the playoffs. That happened 14 minutes and 57 seconds into the first period. That made it 2-0. Kings are feeling good about themselves. They're looking good. But then the Oilers answer back about 2.5 minutes later. Kulak scores his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Draisaitl and Foegele. That happened 17 minutes and 33 seconds into the first period. That made it 2-1. But then right away, Drew Doughty, a beautiful goal by Drew Doughty, attacking the net, going between Skinner's legs. Really, really nice. Great job by Doughty. I like seeing him get involved in the offense as well as the defense. That's his first goal of the playoffs. His first goal in the playoffs, I think, since what'd they say? Was it 2012 or 2014? I think it was one of the Stanley Cup runs. I think it was his last time he scored a goal in the playoffs. So good for him. That's his first of the playoffs. Assisted by Victor Arvidsson. That's his second assist. And Philip Denault, that's his first assist of the playoffs. That was at 18:02 of the first period. That made it 3-1. So going on to the second period, like I said, Kings are up 3-1, feeling good about themselves, going into the locker room. Came out and pretty much laid an egg. So here in the second period, Holloway scored his first of the playoffs, assisted by Carrick and Janmark. That was at 7:51 in the second period. That made it 3-2. And then about 2.5 minutes later, Hyman, there's that guy again. Hyman scores his fourth of the playoffs, another power play goal. That was assisted by Draisaitl, douchebag Draisaitl, and Connor McDavid. That was at 10:33 in the second period. That made it 3-3. The last 9 minutes and 27 seconds went scoreless. We go to the third period. Kings open up to scoring, pretty quick in the third period. Fiala gets his first of the playoffs, assisted by Spence, his first assist, and Quinton Byfield, his second assist of the playoffs. As 1 minute and 46 seconds into the third period, that put Kings up 4-3. You have to be feeling good about yourself. Going in now, you come out of the locker room after a rough second period. You go out there, you get that quick goal in the third period. Kind of quiet that arena down again. You're feeling good now. You're feeling good. All right, let's ramp it back up like we did in the first. But unfortunately, the Oilers had an answer. Holloway scores his second of the game, his second of the playoffs, assisted by Janmark. That was his second assist, also of the game, and second of the playoffs. And that happened about a minute and a half after the Kings scored. That was at 3:23 of the third period. That made it 4-4. The rest of the way, no scoring. But I'll tell you what, it was actually some awesome hockey. A lot of great hits, a lot of big hits, a lot of aggressiveness by both teams. Like I said, Cam Talbot, I think he had one or two amazing saves there in the third period as well. Back and forth, up and down the ice. Both teams were on point. Defensively and offensively, it definitely was not a boring period of hockey to watch. So we head to overtime, and pretty early in overtime, 2 minutes and 7 seconds into overtime, the captain, my boy, your boy, everybody's boy, Anze Kopitar, scores the game-winning goal 1 minute in, or his first goal of the playoffs. Like I said, 2 minutes and 7 seconds into the overtime, assisted by Quinton Byfield and Victor Arvidsson. So there was a turnover in our defensive zone. I don't know who passed it over to Mikey Anderson, but they got it over to Mikey Anderson. And Mikey Anderson, I don't know if he was just trying to clear it or what, but he flicks it up the ice. Quinton Byfield kind of deflects it with his stick. I don't know if he was trying to prevent icing or something, but he deflects it. Slows it down enough where it gets up ice, and there's a rushing Anze Kopitar, making a beeline for it. He gets there. Darnell Nurse is asleep at the wheel there, and he's not able to catch up to the captain, and he goes top shelf on old Stewie boy, Stuart Skinner, and that ends the game. Wild celebration. Oiler fans are in disbelief, and they head back to LA. Series tied 1-1. Feeling good, not feeling great, feeling good, and hopefully we can continue the momentum here going into Game 3. Cam Talbot, he's now 1-1 in this season's playoffs. He stopped 27 out of 31 shots for an .871 save percentage. Like I said, didn't have a great game, but came up huge in some spots. Had a lot of huge saves. Again, there was a decent amount of pressure, not as much as in Game 1. But he came up big. He definitely came up big in this game. Absolutely. Shots favored Edmonton, 31-26. They came down to earth a little bit there in the shots. Hits went to Edmonton, 55-53. Again, it's a high total. Now there was a lot of hitting, but I don't think it was 55-53 a lot. So whatever. The faceoffs went to Edmonton, 31-30. Power play, Kings were 0 for 3. So right now we're 0 for the playoffs. And the penalty kill, the Oilers actually were 1 for 3 on the power play. On the power play. So the Kings were 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. And the block shots went to Edmonton as well, 23-20. So you look at these stats here, and it tells you what you already know. These teams are pretty close. They're pretty even with each other. So expect a tight series. I picked the Kings in 7, and that is me being a homer. I'm not going to lie. The Kings are my favorite team. I'm going to pick the Kings to win, and finally get over that hump. Past the Oilers. I have a good feeling if they can beat the Oilers, they could beat whoever they face in the next round, whether it be Nashville or Vancouver. I think that's whoever the winner of this series. I think that's who they play next. And then possibly move on to the Western Conference Finals against one of those teams at the top of the bracket. In my opinion, probably the Dallas Stars, but that's why they play the games, right? We know about that. 2012 Kings, knock off number 1 Vancouver. Kings with the 8 seed. They knock off number 1 Vancouver in the first series, and then the rest was history. So for the 3 stars of the game, in my opinion, honorable mention goes to Drew Doughty, 1 goal. He was a +1 rating. He had 5 hits as well. And I thought he played extremely good on defense. Very good on defense. He did a good job getting stick on stick, being an agitator, getting the puck up the ice, up the boards, clearing when necessary. I thought Drew Doughty had a very good game. I also think Alex Laferriere had a very good game. Didn't show up really on the score sheet at all, but I felt like he was using his speed, he was using his side, his size, he was putting pressure in the offensive zone, and getting some shots off. Some I think he had like 1 or 2 quality shots, but the rest were just kind of throwing pucks at the net, which you need to do. Throw the puck at the net, anything can happen. Looking for deflections, looking for weird bounces, rebounds and stuff like that. So I thought Alex Laferriere also did have a pretty good game. So to the 3 stars, the number 3 star for me was Quinton Byfield. He had 2 assists. He was a +4 rating. He had 3 hits as well. I felt like this was a great game for Q. He was up and down the ice. He used his size. He had some hits. He was mixing it up a little bit. He was being aggressive. I feel like he had 1 or 2 really good scoring chances, but just missed. Either Skinner made the save or he lost the puck going to the net, or it was something. But he had a couple of decent scoring chances. But I liked what I saw for Quinton Byfield. I like to see more of that in Game 3 and moving forward to here in the playoffs. The second star of the game goes to Adrian Kempe, 2 goals. He was a +3 rating. He had 7 shots. And we saw a little bit more of the aggressive Adrian Kempe, angry Adrian Kempe. We didn't see a full-fledged like we did there at the last game of the season against the Blackhawks. But or it was against the Ducks. I think it was, or the Ducks. Yeah, I think it was against the Ducks. I like angry Adrian Kempe. I like aggressive Adrian Kempe, and I feel like we got to see a little bit more of that. And he's a super talented player. And once he gets going, watch out. He scores in bunches. He's like Fiala. Both those guys, they score in bunches. And my number one star of the night goes to, of course, the captain, game-winning goal in overtime, Anze Kopitar. He had 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, a +3 rating. He also had 4 hits. He was mixing it up as well. I like seeing that. Gloves to the face and all that stuff. The old stink face with the glove. Good stuff. So, all right. So a little note from this side note that Anze Kopitar played in his 94th postseason game. That ties Luc Robitaille for the franchise record. So I'd assume game 3, as long as he plays, he would now be the sole possession of that record. And this was also his 3rd career overtime playoff goal, and that is also a Kings record. So my thoughts on game 2. It came out much better. Like I said, much more aggressive. Defense did a much better job. I mean, we have some really good defensemen. Matt Roy, he's a very good defenseman. Mikey Anderson, very good defenseman. Vladislav Gavrikov, very good. We have a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer here, Drew Doughty. We have a very good defense. And for the effort that they had in game 1, as poor as it was, it was nice to see them rebound in game 2. I thought they did a very good job. The back check was much better, like I said. Putting body to body, clearing pucks out, sticks in lanes. Need to get those block shots up more, I think, because the Oilers shoot a lot. So as much as you can, get legs in there, get arms in there, whatever it takes. Philip Deneau took a pretty big hit. I think that was in the 2nd period. I don't know. The announcers made it sound a lot worse. They're on TBS or TNT, whichever one it was that I was watching it. They made it sound a lot worse than what it was. I think, to be honest with you, his head was down a little bit. He got a shoulder probably underneath the chin. So either he kind of jammed his jaw, or maybe bit his tongue, or chattered his teeth or something. But they were worried that he wasn't even going to come back. I'm like, the dude's coming back. Probably going to the locker room, spit a little bit of blood out. Spray a little bit of freeze spray on his tongue or something. If he bit his tongue, I don't know. You can't do that anyway. Probably poisonous. So, like I said, Cam Talbot, some huge saves. So I thought he was much better. Offensively, putting the pressure on. That was good. The Kings were actually the aggressor on offense instead of catching. The 1-3-1 looked much better. I felt like we had a bunch of blue line stops, neutral zone stops. Weren't letting the Oilers set up in the O zone as much as they were in the first game, in game 1. So they still did set up a couple times. Like I said, especially that 2nd period, I felt like we were almost watching a repeat of game 1. The Oilers had a lot of offensive zone time, in my opinion. That's what it felt like. And they were moving the puck around pretty well. But the Kings stiffened up in the 3rd. And then, of course, like I said, that quick goal in overtime, that helps out a lot. Because I feel like the longer you go in overtime, the more it probably favors Edmonton. Just because they have so many prolific scorers. Between McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, just those 3 alone, put the biscuit in the basket a lot. So, looking ahead to game 3 here, coming up, I believe Friday night. We're heading back to LA. Series tied 1-1. Like I said, a little bit of momentum for the Kings. A big goal there in overtime. An overtime goal always adds a little bit of extra than just a regular. If it's just a regular 5-4 win, that's good. That feels good. But that game-winning goal, that walk-off goal, man, that adds a little bit extra to it. So hopefully they can carry that over into game 3, and continue being aggressive on defense. Put body to body, continue hitting, get in their face, and for the love of Christ, stay out of the penalty box. I can't say that enough. It's their power play is just too good, and our penalty kill, which we all thought was good, they made look like a joke in game one. I did a little bit better in game two, but still, I felt like they had a lot of quality chances when they were on the power play. But we were able to get some saves from Talbot and also get some sticks on pucks there and knocking it down. What else? The one goal. What goal was it? Was it the Kempe or was it Fiala? I feel like it was Kempe, where he knocked the puck out of the air. I'm not sure. But that's a fantastic thing. Keep pressing towards the net, keep attacking the net. Getting up ice. It was one of the things the Kings did well this past season was with the 1-3-1 was stopping that rush to the net. Game one they weren't doing that. Game two I felt like they did a better job. Like I said about a minute ago, they were stifling the Oilers at the blue line and in the neutral zone, not allowing them that free reign, that rush to the net where they're just so good with their passing, so precise that it just puts too much pressure on the goalie. So I like Kings in game three. I do. I like it 4-2. I don't know. I just pull it out of my ass there. I just no reason, no rhyme behind it. I feel like they'll play better. I don't know. Looking back at the stats on this one as well, I said to myself, I said, did Grundstrom play? And so I checked it out. They had Grundstrom down for time on ice for 25 seconds. So I don't know if something happened, if I missed something somewhere. I didn't hear anything. Whether there is a chance that I missed it, maybe he got hurt or aggravated his injury that he missed, a portion of the season with. I'm not sure. I don't know what happened to Grundy, but hopefully he's all right for game three. And yeah, so I like Kings 4-2 in game three, and we'll go from there. All right. So one more bit of LA Kings talk here before I duck out of here. I want to cover their team awards. Since this is a weekly show, it feels like their team awards was a decade ago, but it was just last week. They announced what their team awards, who the winners were, the recipients were of the team awards for this season, and I figured I'd cover it here today. So the Bill Libby Award, the MVP, goes to Adrian Kempe at a career high in points, 73 points. He led the Kings in assists as well. I think he led the Kings in points. So he was your MVP. I'm not sure who votes on this. I don't know if it's the players or if it's the media. So I'm not 100% sure about that. The Mark Bavis Award for Best Newcomer, that goes to Cam Talbot. He was our lone All-Star. I started the season off great this year. He was fantastic, best goalie in the league, or at least top three, beginning of the season. And then I don't know how many he lost in a row. I want to say it's like 11 or 12. I could be wrong. It feels like a lot, but maybe it's more. I don't know. But he really struggled throughout January up until Tom McClellan got fired and Jim Hiller took over. And it felt like David Rittich actually took over the number one spot from Cam Talbot. That's what it felt like to me. But eventually Cam was able to regain that and show that he's the number one goalie and played much better second half. But he was our lone All-Star and he was voted best newcomer. Outstanding defenseman goes to Drew Doughty again. That's his 13th time winning that distinction. That's voted on by the media. It's his fifth career. He had his fifth career 50-point season. He had 50 points exactly. And he was second in the league in time on ice, 26 minutes. The dude is just always top three on time on ice. It's amazing. Being in the league, I think 16 years, I think it is for him. 14 or 16, I can't remember exactly. But it's just consistent. He's very consistent, very good defenseman, very a nice offensive weapon from the blue line there. Having Drew Doughty coming in, helping out on offense a little bit from his defensive position. So yeah, he's best defenseman, outstanding defenseman. The Darrell Evans Youth Hockey Service Award goes to Philip Denault. Best defensive player, which again, this confuses me. I don't know what the difference is between the outstanding defenseman. I guess that's just an award for defensemen. But then your best defensive player, I don't know if that's for everybody or if that's just for the forwards or what. But anyway, it goes to Anze Kopitar. He is one of the best defensive centers in the league, and proves it year in and year out. The Ace Bailey Most Inspirational Player award goes to Victor Arvidsson. A lot for Arvy to overcome this season with his injuries. Went on the injured list. He went on the injured list right before the season started. I think it was in October. And it was out probably 2/3 of the season. He comes back. He's looking good. A ton of shots on net. The Kings are looking better with him in the lineup. And then he goes out again. And he comes back, I think, with was it like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month to go in the season. And he's looked good ever since. So he's the most inspirational player. And the Unsung Hero Award goes to Blake Lizotte. And I've mentioned this in the show before. I love Blake Lizotte. I love the way he plays. He's usually the smallest guy on the ice when he's out there. But he's up in their face. He doesn't matter if you're big, you're little. He's in your ass, and you know it. And that pisses a lot of people off, and that's good. You need guys like that. You need the Nats. Back in the day when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of hockey, and I watched a lot of different teams then. But I was always an LA Kings fan. The teams always had an enforcer, and they always had a Nat. I called the Nat. I don't know if that's what the teams called them. But just somebody that just bugged like your star player, from the other team, follow him around, just constantly, tapping at him, bumping him, pushing him, checking him, stuff like that, just to piss him off. And it's a great role to have, and he does a good job at it. I like Lizzo. It's his second time winning that award. The most popular player award, voted on by the Booster Club, goes to Kevin Fiala. No surprise there. The Jim Fox Community Service Award also goes to Kevin Fiala for his work with Kings Cares, and also with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and amongst other community service type stuff. So congratulations to Kevin Fiala. So my thoughts on these awards, I probably would not have given the MVP to Kempe. He had a great season. He definitely does deserve it. But if I had to vote, I probably would have voted Kevin Fiala, because I felt like when the Kings were at their worst through January, I felt like the only bright spot then was Kevin Fiala. He really cut down on his turnovers, on his stupid penalties. They're moving. He's on so many different lines, different line combinations, and he stayed consistent. He was scoring in bunches for a while there. Assists, doing all the little things right, and for me, I felt like this was his best season as an LA King since the Kings traded for him a few years ago. Excuse me. So I would have voted Kempe. Best newcomer. It's hard to argue against Cam Talbot, but you can always also look at rookies. LaFerriere, he had a decent season as a rookie. As also a surprise, nobody expected him to really make the team. But yeah, I think I'm all right with Cam Talbot with that one. Outstanding defenseman. I'm all right with Drew Doughty. You could for me, I would Drew Doughty or Mikey Anderson. You could have went either way with those ones. Best defensive player, again, Kopitar. I'm cool with that. Maybe even who am I thinking of? Byfield, Quentin Byfield. Maybe even QB. I thought he had a pretty good season defensively. Most inspirational player, cool with Arvidsson. Unsung hero, Lazat, he would have been my pick as well. Most popular, probably Fiala or Kempe. And so that's it. So that's all I have for today, LA Kings wise. I'm going to do a couple sponsor reads here and a couple reminders before I get out of here. All right. There he is. Jay Fine Law, Jason Fine, attorney, Big Al. You can reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. In New Jersey, the offices are located in Cherry Hill, 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. That in the steel city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The offices are located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. Jason Fine, attorney, Big Al. Head on over to monkeycoldcoffee.com for all of your gourmet coffee needs. They have bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, toasted coconut rum. They have a medium roast coffee, Sumatran blend. They also have an organic blend called Perula Florida, and their newest blend, Golden Honey Agave. And they're also in conjunction with that, they're also selling barrel-aged honey at monkeycoldcoffee.com. Be sure to check out their swag shop where they got t-shirts, tumbler cups, coffee mugs, K-cup adapters, cold brew pitcher. You make your iced coffee or your cold brew coffee in that. Super easy to use, and everything tastes fantastic out of it. And don't forget that sweet Paradise rum cake. So be sure to get all your boozy coffee. Like I said, the bourbon chocolate chip infused, toasted coconut rum. The golden honey agave, I like putting a little bit of honey jack in there, honey Jack Daniels. Give it a little bit of a kick. That's all. So it's all good. It's good stuff there at monkeycoldcoffee.com. And at checkout, use that promo code OOTB Sports for 10% off your order. That promo code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoldcoffee.com. All right, I'm back. A couple more bits of information here. Out of the Box Sports, you can check us out, Facebook, YouTube, X. We're also on TikTok and Instagram. Be sure, please subscribe, follow, like the pages, but especially subscribe to YouTube and follow us here on X. And if you happen to find yourself over on Facebook, give us a like and a follow there as well. Our page, Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, or OOT Box Sports. You can check me out, Silver and Black Lair, on Twitter at SB_Lair_OOTBE. That's on X. And also Out of the Box Sports on X is OOT Box Sports. That's OOTBOXSPORTS. And that's Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, tonight, big night, NFL Draft. And we're going to be doing the NFL Draft live show. It starts at 7:30 p.m. We're going to have multiple hosts on from all different, a bunch of different shows that we have here on the network. We'll have a host from the Big Blue Power Hour, New York Giants. We'll have the host from Dem 215 Boys, Talking Cowboys. I'll be on there, Raiders, that and much, much more. So be sure to tune in at 7:30. We had a lot of fun with that last year. So looking forward to it this year. I'll be on around, 8:15, sometime after 8. I got, my daughter has softball practice, and that's over at 7:30 by the time I get home and all that good stuff and get my stuff ready for work. It's going to be a little bit after 8 before I hop on and put in my 2 cents. I think the draft doesn't even start till 8 o'clock. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it starts at 7:30, but for some reason I feel like it probably starts closer to 8 because the NFL likes to dick around like that. So, also coming soon here on Out of the Box Sports, we'll be doing a live pregame show for Monday Night Football, of course, during football season. So that's a lot of fun. And what else do we got here? All right, I think that's it. So make sure to check me out tomorrow, 10 a.m., Silver and Black Lair Raiders edition. I'll be talking Las Vegas Raiders, round 1 of the NFL draft, and what I think they'll do in rounds 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2 and 3 is Friday, and the rest of it is Saturday. And also this Saturday, I will be live with the Atomic Drop podcast. That says Friday, 10:30. That is not correct. Saturday, 10 p.m., Atomic Drop podcast talking WWE wrestling. And we'll be talking draft there as well because this week, Friday, starts the WWE draft on SmackDown. And a whole bunch of rules to that as well. We'll be doing our predictions. Well, actually, our predictions will be putting out. We'll be sharing our predictions before that, so you can see what they are, and we'll talk about what happened at SmackDown draft-wise, and also this past Monday Night Raw. All right, so that's all I have for today. Thank you, everybody, for checking the show out. Next time, throw those comments out there. Like I said, comments, questions, it doesn't matter. I'll read pretty much anything as long as it isn't anything derogatory. Derogatory to me is fine. I'll read that. Usually it's pretty funny. But anything derogatory or racist or any kind of political stuff, I'm not going to read that stuff. But everything else, like I said, doesn't have to be LA Kings related. Could be anything. Any other team, hockey, football, baseball, whatever, movies, TV shows, whatever. I'm up for it. Throw comments out there next time. That would be much appreciated. It helps the show seem a little bit more interesting. All right, so game 3, Friday night. Like I said, I have the Kings winning 4-2 and taking a 2-1 series lead. And I might hop on for a couple minutes for maybe a pregame or something like that before I go to work. And of course, next Thursday, 10 a.m., tune into the Silver and Black Lair LA Kings edition, where I'll be talking games 3, game 4, and probably game 5. I think game 5 will be completed by then as well. I think game 5 is Wednesday. So it's Friday, Sunday, Tuesday. So I think that's how it goes. I'll go back and check the schedule out. I got one more comment before I get out of here. Eileen says, great show. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for your comment. And only comments. All right. So that's all I have. I'm going to duck out of here. And I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. Thank you, everybody. And one last thing. Go, Kings, go!